Hadouken!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video. Today we are back with another Street Fighter type of like talking video because it's been a while since I did that, and I feel like I want to start making these videos again because I had a bunch of them in my notes of like ideas. So we're back. It's been a long time. It's been like literally like 5 months maybe since I've made like a video like this. More like lore type videos. They're just random videos like this. So today we're making a video on Street Fighter characters that will never return. Okay, so if you're a Street Fighter fan and you're watching this video, there's a good chance that these characters will never return. And if you made any of these characters, or if any of these characters are one of your favorite characters, don't get your hopes up because they're probably not going to return. All right, and I have, you know, stuff to back it up. And you know, just a lot of these characters are pretty believable that they're not going to come back. And as probably one of the biggest Street Fighter fans in the world, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. So let's get into the video. There's like how many characters do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 characters. 14 characters. So a lot. I looked through the entire list of characters in Street Fighter, and I basically picked the characters that I feel like will never return. And if they ever do return, it's like a miracle. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the first character, which is Violent Ken. This character, originally wasn't even a Street Fighter character. He was a character that first appeared in the Capcom vs. SNK games. Basically his whole lore is he's Ken, but he is evil Ken, like evil Ryu. But instead of being controlled by the Satsui no Hado, the Dark Hado, he was controlled by Psycho Power. So basically Bison was controlling Ken, basically. He's a really cool character. His design is really cool. He's a really cool character. But I don't think he's canon at all, because Capcom vs. SNK is not a Street Fighter game, but he has made an appearance in an official Street Fighter game, which is the latest version of Street Fighter 2, which is Ultra Street Fighter 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm not gonna say that Violent Ken is canon. I'm pretty sure Violent Ken is not canon, considering that he hasn't been referenced at all in any of the Street Fighter games. So his appearance in Street Fighter 2 is not canon. It's just like, you know, kind of a what if situation. Like, what if Ken was, you know, evil with Psycho Power? So don't get your hopes up for Ken to return. He has a better chance of returning if they made a Capcom vs. SNK 3. I feel like his chances of returning is way better in that situation. Next, we have Charlie / Nash, whatever you want to call him, Charlie Nash. And there's many reasons why I believe this character will never return. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a cool character, all right? He's basically Guile's like master, but not really. He's stronger than Guile. He trained Guile. So he's a pretty cool character, you know, the one-handed Sonic Boom. I really like Nash, especially in Street Fighter V. Nash is very fun. But there's many reasons why I don't think Nash will return. He's dead, first of all. He did die in Street Fighter V. He sacrificed himself to weaken Bison, so Ryu could kill Bison. But, you know, him being dead, you know, aside from that, I just don't think they'll bring him back. I feel like him coming back in Street Fighter V was a very like rare, like surprising, you know, situation. It's like, oh my god, we have, you know, Nash is back in the game. I don't think Nash is ever going to return. Like I said, same thing for Violent Ken. I feel like he has a better chance appearing in a versus game, whether it's Capcom vs. SNK or Marvel vs. Capcom or anything else that isn't a mainline Street Fighter game. I feel like he has a better chance of returning in that. But Nash, do not think he's going to return. And him being dead isn't like good enough of a reason to say that he won't return, because there's been plenty of times where Street Fighter characters have died and they have come back to life, whether it's because of them being resurrected or they somehow survived. But I think in this situation, I think it's pretty safe to say Nash is dead, because we literally watched him disintegrate into air. So that'd be kind of hard to come up with some story to bring him back. So I don't think he's ever going to return. Like I said, better chance in a versus game. Next, we have Birdie, another character that was like, I don't think people ever saw him returning. So him like coming back in Street Fighter V was kind of a shocker. It's like, really, Birdie? Birdie, first of all, not really the most liked character. Nobody really liked him in Street Fighter V. His design was weird. His playstyle was weird. His character was weird. If only it was Street Fighter Alpha Birdie. Street Fighter Alpha Birdie is really cool, but this Birdie from Street Fighter V is just not it. So I don't think he's gonna return, because one, the fans didn't really like him, and two, I feel like there is zero reason to bring him back. I feel like his only reason for being in Street Fighter V is for like comedic value. So I don't think he's returning anytime soon. Probably never. Next, we have Evil Ryu. And the main reason why I don't think Evil Ryu will ever return is more lore-wise, lore stuff, story stuff. Evil Ryu is basically just Ryu if he was evil. That makes sense, right? In Street Fighter 6, Ryu has conquered the Dark Hado. He's, got rid of all of it. So he beat Evil Ryu. There's literally no reason for Evil Ryu to ever return, because Ryu can't tap into the dark power anymore. He completely conquered it. So Evil Ryu, I don't think he'll ever return. Like I said, with a couple of the other characters, I think he has a better chance returning in a versus game. But in the mainline Street Fighter games, I don't think we're going to see Evil Ryu ever again. And I also think it's kind of a waste of a slot. I always felt that way when it comes to Evil Ryu and other characters with like a second form. I feel like it's a waste of a slot, waste of a character slot. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon, or ever. Next, we have two characters that I can guarantee you with all my heart, I'd bet money on it, these two characters will never return. And I'm going to say them together because they're kind of the same character. Julie and Junie. These two characters are two of the dolls from, Shadow Liu, Bison's dolls. They've only been in one Street Fighter game, which is the Alpha games. Alpha 3, for sure. Alpha 3 Max. They are never returning. Nobody wants Julie and Junie. I feel like DiCaprio has a better chance of making it back than Julie and Junie. I feel like these two characters were just characters to make the roster look bigger. They're literally just Cammy clones, so I don't see them returning ever again. Pretty waste of slots, and that's basically it. They haven't been in a Street Fighter game since the 90s, and it's probably going to stay like that. I don't even think they have a chance of making it in a versus game. It's just a waste. Alright, these characters were just to fill the roster up. Next, we have two characters that are kind of the same. I'm gonna say them together. 11 and 12. 12 is more cooler because he actually has a move set, and he's actually like playable in Street Fighter 3, but there's really no reason to bring back 12, and I don't think anybody would want to see 12 return, especially considering the other really cool characters that are in the Street Fighter 3 games. I don't think 12 is ever going to return. Kind of just makes no sense to bring 12 back. And then for 11, he's not even a character. You can select him in Street Fighter 5, but it's like a similar situation with Julie and Junie. He was just there to fill up the roster. If you pick 11 in Street Fighter 5, you're basically picking random. So it's, 11 is so random. And I remember when, the season pass got announced for Street Fighter 5 Season 5, and I saw 11, I'm like, whoa, are we just throwing in a bonus character? It's just random select. 11 and 12 are never returning, and I can bet on that. Next, we have a character that is pretty hated in Street Fighter 4, and that is none other than El Fuerte. I don't think he's ever returning. He's kind of just a joke character. Yeah, El Fuerte has his fans, but his playstyle is weird, and there is zero reason to bring back El Fuerte. I feel like he has a good chance of returning in a Versus game, but in a mainline Street Fighter game, El Fuerte is blacklisted. There's no way he's coming back. Just really, yeah, it's not happening. Next, we have, similar to Julian Juni, we have Decapre. I don't think Decapre is ever going to return. The only reason why Decapre was a character is because, you know, she has a relationship with Cammy. Not like a romantic relationship, but like, you know, friendly relationship with Cammy. Pretty sure they're not sisters. I think there was a theory that they're sisters. No. You know, they're just good friends and stuff like that. And then Cammy wanted to save Decapre, and she did. She managed to save Decapre. You know, she's not a doll anymore. So that's basically it. That's the end of Decapre's. The only reason why Decapre was a fighter is because she was kidnapped by Shadaloo, kidnapped by Bison, and turned into a doll. Now that she's not a doll anymore, she's living a normal life. So there's really no reason for her to come back, because she didn't want to be a fighter to begin with. So with that lore in mind, and also just, you know, the fact that she's just a Cammy clone and not too many people like her, I don't think Decapre is returning at all, anytime soon, or like at all. But she's been referenced a lot in Street Fighter 6. You know, if you talk to Cammy in World Tour, Cammy does talk about Decapre. There is like new, like 2025 or 2023 artwork of Decapre. So, you know, it's not like she's been forgotten. She's just not returning. Next, we have a character that has so much, out of all the characters in this list, this character had the most potential to being like a main roster character. And that is none other than Necalli. This character, Necalli, when he got shown off in Street Fighter V, he looked so cool. He literally looked like a Dragon Ball character. He had so much potential, so much power, so much going for him. And Capcom and the directors of Street Fighter just completely flopped with his story, with his character. You know, they were building up his character. They were making it seem like this guy is insanely strong. He's an ancient fighter who only appears when he senses very powerful fighters. And yeah, I didn't really get to see a lot of that, you know, ancient fighter, very strong fighter type of, like, it was such a flop. But if there's one thing Capcom knows how to do in Street Fighter 6, they know how to take a character that people didn't like, a character that flopped, and bring them back and make them look really cool. They did it with Ed. They did it with who else did they do it with? They did it with Ed. And they're about to do it with Ingrid. So I feel like out of all the characters, even though this is a list that I feel like none of these characters can return, out of all of these characters, I feel like Necalli has the best chance of returning, because he really is a cool character, design-wise and stuff. Playstyle-wise, he was unique. But if they can make Ed a character that people like, they can bring back Necalli, change up his story, and stuff like that, because he's an ancient being. Yes, Ryu did kill him in Street Fighter V, but they could easily, you know, bring him back and say, yeah, he was killed by Ryu, but he's an ancient fighter, he can't be killed, he always comes back to life. And they can use that as an excuse to bring him back, make him look cooler, make him look tough, and make him strong. So Necalli I really love. I really think that really just so much potential for that character. Next we have Fang. Fang in Street Fighter V. Really weird character, really goofy, really stupid. But Fang in Street Fighter 6, really cool. Fang is a character that nobody liked in Street Fighter 5. His playstyle was weird. His design is weird. His head is the shape of a football. And like, I don't know. I mean, they made him one of the 3 kings of Shadowloo because, you know, the original 3 kings was Vega, Bison, and Sagat. Sagat left. Sagat, you know, changed his ways. And our replacement for Sagat, such a cool character, is Fang. So it was just stupid. But I feel like in Street Fighter 6, they definitely made him cooler. His design is way cooler. He's just a way cooler, way better character in Street Fighter 6. He's not playable. Let me just clarify that. He is, you can find him in World Tour. You can talk to him. You can see his new design. He looks really cool. And also, we kind of already have Fang playable in Street Fighter 6. And that is his student, which is Aki. Way cooler character. So, yeah, and that's another reason why I don't think we'll ever get Fang to return, because Aki has a very big, strong, loyal fan base. And I feel like Aki has a good chance of returning in even Street Fighter 7. So I don't think Fang will ever return, but I feel like he will always have his presence as long as Aki is in the game. Fang will have his presence. So if Aki is in Street Fighter 7, Fang will be there somehow, cameo-wise. So that's Fang basically. Fang, I don't think he's gonna return, especially when we have, you know, his student who is way cooler, like Aki. So there's that. I have 2 more characters, right? The second to last character is a character that I feel like wasn't really necessary to make into a fighter. I don't know why they did it. Street Fighter 5 was just full of characters that didn't really need to be made into characters, but for some reason Capcom were like, let's do it. You know, that goes for Birdie, that goes for Abigail, that goes for Nash. Like, these characters have no reason to be made into characters, but they did it. So next we have Colleen, or Colin, whatever you want to call her. Previously, before she was, you know, in Street Fighter 5, everybody knew Colleen as Gil's manager, not manager, but like Gil's servant. She serves for Gil. She's basically like Gil's, I don't know, just part of Gil's story. We have never seen her fight before, so her being added into Street Fighter 5, it's like, oh, she's a fighter, and she has ice powers, and I think she's cool. I don't think she's a boring character. Her play style is very unique in Street Fighter 5. I think she's a cool character, but it's definitely one of those characters where, why, you know, why did she ever get added into the game? I don't think she's ever gonna return. I feel like it's definitely one of those like one-time things, her being added into Street Fighter 5, and I don't think she's ever gonna return in Street Fighter, any Street Fighter game in the future. And then for the final character on this list of characters that I believe will never return in a Street Fighter game is none other than, is it? I'm trying to remember, is this Canada's only representative? You know what? We can check. We can check right now. So if I said Canada, and if you know, you know. But I have the Street Fighter encyclopedia right here. We're gonna look this up on camera because the encyclopedia does tell everything. Here's a map of every single Street Fighter character and what country they're from. And if we look at Canada, yep, there he is. Canada's only fighter in Street Fighter. They're Canada's only representative. None other than Abigail himself. My gosh. Abigail, what a fighter he is. So yes, that's the last character on this list, Abigail. And if you know anything about this character, you know exactly why he will never return. He is just a big goofball. And really nothing cool about him. At least that's the general, opinion on Abigail. I think he's kind of cool. He is, pretty sure he is the biggest Street Fighter character that we've seen so far. Bigger than Zangief, that's for sure, and bigger than Hugo. So he is huge. He's a huge character. He weighs like a ton. I think he's like 7 foot, 8 foot. I think he's like 8 foot. He's huge, dude. He's a unit. Personally, I think his character is hilarious. I think his play style is very destructive and very cool as well. I think he's a cool character. I don't actually hate Abigail, but the fact that the, most of Street Fighter's fan base does not like Abigail is good enough of a reason for Capcom to never bring him back. Now, like I said, if they can take Ed and bring him into Street Fighter 6 and make him a cool character, I feel like they could do the same thing with Abigail. And like I said, they took Ingrid. Ingrid is a character nobody thought that would come back. They're adding her to Street Fighter 6, and we already saw her new design. She looks already way more cooler than what she did when she was in Street Fighter Alpha. So I feel like, Capcom and the new directors of Street Fighter, they know what they're doing. So if they were to ever bring back Abigail, I feel like they could make him really cool. But I just don't think he'll ever return. But it would be cool. I think he could return in a versus game, but that's basically it. So that's it for the video. I did not expect this video to be this long. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of editing because, I'm gonna put images of the characters on screen and, put background music and stuff like that. So that's basically it for today's video on the characters from Street Fighter that I believe will never return in the game. So yeah, that's basically it. If there's any characters that you think I missed, or if there's any characters that you think will never return, then go in the comments and type that character. And maybe I might agree with you, maybe I might just completely disagree with you. But I respond to every comment, so if you do type anything in the comments, I will be responding to it, whether it's a hate comment or a support comment or you giving your opinion comment. So go ahead and do that if you want. But that's it for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.